So this is Maya Berry, the chair of the Hate Crimes Task Force in America, being asked by a committee in Congress about her views on Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas. And she's someone that's there to deal with anti-Semitism. And I want you to watch what she says when questioned by two senators. First of all, this is Senator Josh Hawley. Have a watch.
Praise the protests going on campuses. I just want to make sure I got this right, so you correct me now. As a national organic human rights movement. What did you mean by that?
The mass movement in support of Palestinian human rights is happening on college campuses across the country after students are learning more about the history of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the specific targeting of Palestinian human rights. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear about what you're praising and not praising.
Well, praising.
Let's have a look here. So,
yeah.
This long live the Intifada.
Yeah.
Is this an example of the what did you say, national organic human rights movement that you mean? Is this a human rights movement?
I'm not sure that using the term Intifada, which literally just means to like shake off or get rid of, is effective. As most Americans don't actually associate it with a human rights issue, so I don't think that's effective. No, Senator.
Wait a minute. You don't think it's effective, but you would agree that this is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. This is after the October.
No, Senator.
No, it's not. This isn't calling for the killing of Jews.
I don't know that person, and I don't know that sign. So
you don't know what this means?
This is like when the British police say, when there's calls for jihad on British streets, the British police say, well, jihad can mean many things to different people. You know, jihad can mean a personal internal struggle. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they're referring to when they're calling for violent jihad against the Jews and Israel. It's about a deep personal internal struggle.
I don't think...
You haven't seen this before? Did you see these protests on Rabbi, do you know what this means?
Yes, it's a call for the destruction of the state of Israel and probably the killing of Jews everywhere.
I do not agree with that, Senator.
You don't think that's hate speech right here?
Long live the Intifada can mean different. As I see the problem,
it can mean different things. Wait a minute. These are protests, violent protests on campuses that targeted Jewish students, attacked them personally, prevented them from going to camp, going to class, put them in fear of their safety after the October 7th attacks on the state of Israel that murdered more Jews than at any time since the Holocaust. And you're saying you think that this is an ambiguous message? You pray.
Let's be clear. The Intifada was Arab terrorism against Jews and Israelis. Innocent Jews and Israelis going about their lives, murdering, killing them on buses, in pizza parlors. That's what the Intifada is. And anyone that's calling for that, it's no different to them celebrating 9/11 and saying long live 9/11. And this notion that it's somehow a resistance movement is beyond appalling. There is every single piece of evidence you need to show how there is absolutely no concern for national self-determination among the Palestinians, because if there was, this would have been sorted decades ago. And that every issue that they lament, from occupation to war to checkpoints to a lack of state, is self-inflicted by the Arab leadership, who have never been interested in their own state and are not resisting because of that. They're resisting because the Jews live, because the Jews have returned to their homeland, because the Jews have their own self-determination. And that's what it's always been about. And so Intifada, let's be clear, is absolutely terrorism. It is jihad. It is violence against the Jewish people and innocent people living in Israel. And this woman, Berry, is what she's doing is, it's very similar to the whole "it depends on the context" thing, where you're trying to cloud through word salads, through supposedly nuanced language, cloud good and evil from each other, and not make clear distinctions when the distinctions are absolutely clear. Sadly, we've seen this throughout history. And I want to show you another example of Miss Berry doing exactly that when Lindsey Graham asks her a few questions. Have a watch.
Mr. Stern, is it Hamas's goal to destroy the Jewish state? Absolutely. Hamas
Is
is
Hezbollah's goal to destroy the Jewish state?
absolutely.
Is it Iran's goal to destroy the Jewish state?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Berry, do you agree with that?
I think these are complicated questions. I
No,
really
it's
don't want
not.
to talk
There's
about
nothing
foreign
complicated
policy.
about it. That's the
Yeah,
most ridiculous
Senator,
testimony ever given in this committee.
Yeah. So
if you think it's
all of those-
complicated to figure out that Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran wants to kill all the Jews,
Yeah.
I should not listen to anything else you got to say.
Okay, may I,
And
Senator,
I won't.
if I may,
Rabbi,
Senator?
Rabbi,
I think we started
do
to
you
look-
believe that Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran are out to kill all the Jews and destroy Israel?
I believe they're out to destroy the Jewish state and kill all the Jews. both.
Okay, so I do too.
It's this attempt to try and make everything so nuanced and, well, it's a bit more complicated. This was the very routes that we went down in the 30s that led to the appeasement of Hitler. Well, it's more complicated. He's just a bit aggrieved at the fact that Germany was treated so badly in World War I. No. He genuinely just has a hateful ideology that wants to dominate the world and kill all the Jews and other people he deemed inferior. It's that simple. It's not complicated. It's not nuanced. It's not complicated. And unfortunately, we see now among Western intelligentsia, and maybe it's been the case for a very long time, an ability to cloud basic truths. I once heard, I think it was George Orwell who first coined the phrase, only an intellectual or an academic could say something so stupid. And we're seeing this here. But this actually goes, Judaism teaches us, this goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, that when Adam and Eve ate from that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, what happened was, suddenly, good was able to parade itself and masquerade itself as bad, and bad was able to masquerade itself as good. And we were able to intellectualize in our heads and justify in our heads, and maybe to the point of action, how something that is bad is actually good, how evil is good. I remember hearing a rabbi say that the word rationalize can be split up into rational lies. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with this woman. She is unable, Miss Berry, to say the truth for what it is. I don't know whether it's intentional on her part or whether she just doesn't really realize it. But either way, we all, as viewers and as human beings, have to do our part in saying when things actually are completely clear what's true, and to call out falsehoods, because otherwise people like this end up dominating the conversation in political arenas and intellectual arenas. Sometimes what is basic and common sense truth is the truth, and it's not more complicated than that. And what we're seeing now at this time is the great elites actually showing that they have a real void of basic moral conscience. Actually, morality and truth is starting to come up from the grassroots, the people that some of these people actually disdain. But that's where it's coming from, and that's why we, as part of the grassroots, should stand strong in articulating the clear truth. If it seems clear, it is. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.